Alright everyone, 2 days ago North Korea openly proclaimed not only a willingness but a deep desire to end the Korean War. The legacy media here in the United States, of course, said nothing about it. They were too busy talking about Manafort, which is meaningless, number one, and number two, didn't want to talk about something that would make Trump look awfully good. So Trump is doing the next best thing. He decided earlier, well, I'm not going to send Mike Pompeo over to North Korea. I don't see enough progress on, denuclearization. So I'd love to meet with Kim. I'd love to send Pompeo over, but we're going to have to wait. We need some more. We're going to need a little bit more sum and substance here before we can do it. This, the legacy media will talk about because they're stupid and they think that it's a foreign policy blunder. This is not a blunder. It accomplishes two very simple things. This is pure Trump, and he's been doing it. He's already done this like 2 or 3 different fucking times with regards to North Korea alone. Number one, it forces the legacy media, because they think it's a mistake, to talk about the issue. Oh, Pompeo's not going after all. Haha, Trump has failed to make peace in Korea, which is, I mean, come on, you can't even say enough about it. It's too funny. And number two, North Korea now, the onus is on them. Again, ahead of a summit. He's done this, I believe, twice before with regards to these things. It forces them to say, no, we want you to come over here. Look, we'll give you a few other things. He's already accomplished a great deal. We've got the return of certain POW remains. We've got the dismantling of one of their main forward missile sites. We have an end to certain types of propaganda broadcasts. We've got open proclamation of a desire to sign a peace treaty. We've had, for the first time, North and South Korea's leaders meet at the DMZ and cross physically, symbolically, yes, but cross into one another's countries. We've got all sorts of wonderful things that are happening in Korea, and largely it's also to push North and South Korea to take the fore and to do it largely themselves. Like, the U.S. can't just lord over the whole fucking proceedings. It's not the American DPRK war, it's the Korean war. Yes, we're certainly a major player. We're the major power involved with the negotiations. We've got certain things we hope to accomplish. We've got a lot of firepower in the region. It's Korea that has to sign the treaty. North and South Korea, they have to sign the peace treaty. They have to determine where's the artillery going to go? Where's this missile going to go? What are we going to do with the nukes? Will we become one Korea? Will we become 2 separate states? Semi-separate states? What form does the government take if we reunify? They've got to hammer that out. All we can do is give our best wishes, our advice, at least to the South Korean side, much like China will to North Korea, and then make it plain what certain things are that would be involved with the removal of U.S. forces within the region. Otherwise, it's a big victory if there's peace in the region. Why would Trump scrap the meeting unless this were actually genuine? Here's the thing. This forces North Korea to do what they did before. Remember when they insulted Pence right before the last time they were going to have a summit? When Trump was going to go over. And Trump's like, well, I would love to meet with you, but you disrespected Mike Pence. Shame on you, basically. I'm not going to come meet with you. And then North Korea said, oh, no, we really want this summit to go forward. We think that Pence is a swell guy. Don't worry, we blew off the head of that newscaster with an artillery piece, basically. And then the summit goes forward, and by all accounts, it went monstrously well. The biggest thing, it went so well that all the legacy media here, which can't bring themselves to say anything positive about Trump at all they could report on is the fact that he saluted a general, which is customary. It's like, yeah, let him sit there and disrespect this country he's meeting with and trying to have peace with. That'll go over really well. It's so moronic in every way. They still don't get how he conducts foreign policy. But the proof is in the pudding. Look, successive presidents, from Clinton on through Obama, didn't collectively in 6 terms accomplish butt-fuck anything. North Korea during that time became more of a formidable threat, repeatedly flaunted sanctions, completely was shielded by China, non-stop, again, for 6 fucking terms and 3 fucking administrations, technically before that as well. Was shielded by a major nuclear power. Nothing was accomplished. North Korea, Obama thought, well, if we just keep putting sanctions on them, they'll collapse eventually. Did that happen? No, it took someone threatening to press the little red button to stop them, and that was after a hydrogen bomb test. Wonderful time. Obama did nothing, Bush did nothing, Clinton actually helped build their nuclear program in the first place. 3 administrations failed. Trump, in just the first half of his first term, has accomplished more than three presidents in collectively 6 terms accomplished. They made negative progress the whole time. Trump has managed to get them to at least pay lip service to denuclearization for the first time. Their stated proposal was, we will never denuclearize because we think the U.S. will invade us. Now, that's a cop-out, of course. It's really, eventually they wanted to invade South Korea. That's the whole operative strategy. Trump realized that you had to go after China to get North Korea to play nice. That's basically what it boils down to. He's a foreign strategy genius with regards to the Korean problem. He has half solved the problem already. North Korea is no longer in nearly as threatening a posture as it has been since literally the 1990s. I feel great about our chances of having peace in the area, but ultimately Seoul and Pyongyang have to take the fore. Beijing and DC are off to the side, sort of gazing on it, nudging things a little bit here and there, making some statements. The best thing Trump can do is to tell them, no, Pompeo's not going over there. We need more progress. Otherwise, we can go back to square one. Look, the U.S. can do this forever. You're not a threat to us. You're a little country. It doesn't matter if you do have a bunch of hydrogen bombs. You'll never actually use them, so we can go on and sanction you for the rest of eternity. North Korea ultimately wants to be free of sanctions. I do think that at this point they want some degree of normalization of relations and trade, because it does sting them. And with North Korea's insular apparent market economy growing, and with the youth there a little bit more keyed into the way the outside world works in the era of flash drives especially, Kim Jong-un knows the gig will eventually be up. He knows that it's only a matter of time before someone takes a shot at him. He has to do something. He's going to try to modernize the country to some degree. It's going to end up probably becoming a Chinese-style, semi-insular economy. There will be protectionism. There will definitely be, human rights abuses. But, China does that. We never talk about how bad that is. When people talk about Donald Trump goes off and meets with people who do terrible things. Okay, when Obama went to Saudi Arabia, China, you had no problem with that. You had no difficulty with that. The Chinese stood him up on his last official state visit, didn't roll out the carpet, didn't even come and fucking greet him at the airport, and he just sort of wandered into his car and then went off to his meetings. That didn't happen to Trump now, did it? No, it looked like all of China turned out to have a fucking massive parade. And it was wonderful. That's how you do things within the context of politics in that part of the world. You can't go in looking weak. You can't go in being humble like you would in Western Europe. You go over like, oh, your country's so great. Wow, look at the architecture. You're such a wonderful host. Wow, this wine is wonderful. That sausage is... That's what you do if you're going over to meet with the French or the Germans or something. It's not what you do if you're going to meet with fucking North Korea. Oh, Kim, your country's so proud and so wonderful. That'll be used as propaganda. You go in looking weak and it's like, oh, look at this fucking fop. Look at this goofball over here. That's what Obama tried to do. He never got anything accomplished. He didn't even set foot in North Korea. He never would. He'd be afraid to, probably. Trump's like, yeah, maybe I'll go to Pyongyang next summer. Maybe I'll fucking take a vacation. We don't even have to just do diplomacy. He knows that he's the leader of the free world. He's got big balls in that military sense. He's not worried about stepping foot in North Korea. He'll walk up to the DMZ and not even ask him. He'll just walk across and see what happens. He'd probably do it too, if the Secret Service would let him. But no. His strategy is pull back a little bit. North Korea then comes forward just a little bit more. You can't do it too fast. You'll spook them. That's the other thing. Everything's got to be slow right now. The hope is that a peace treaty then eventually is signed within the next year or two, and then things can be accelerated because there's no more fear. It's like, we're at peace. We're not going to invade you because we would get condemned if we did. If the U.S. were to invade a country that it was at peace with, that is, that there were no declaration of any form of hostilities, it'd be universally condemned. The same as North Korea would be, the Chinese would invade the next day if North Korea attacked South Korea after signing a treaty. It just won't happen. So I think that's where it's headed. It'll probably take years to reunify if it even happens. At this point, it's not clear that the South Koreans would even want reunification. They might just want to basically, do the tear down this wall thing and be like, okay, we're two Koreas, but there'll be free movement. We're going to cooperate, trade, and do what normal nations do. I think that his strategy will work. I think in the coming days or weeks or whatever, the North Koreans will put out a presser or send a letter or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, well, respectfully, we would like to meet with Pompeo. Look, we've made progress. We do want to give you like more power mains and stuff, but we're doing the best. It takes time. Pompeo will go over there. They'll shake hands all around and it'll be marginally successful. It'll be another step in the road to peace. That's what I predict. That's about all. Peace out.